Pro Air is a company that believes in the wisdom of God and in the knowledge of God. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 to 10 is the heart and core of Pro Air. Because without wisdom, you cannot have the knowledge of God. And without the knowledge of God, you cannot have blessing and prosperity. Let's read. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. There is a command, then there is a promise. The command is to trust. The promise is that He will make your path straight. Then there's another command. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. Then there's a promise that comes. It will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones. There's another promise that comes again in verse 10. So your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will overflow with new wine. God has commanded blessing towards you, but that blessing takes the wisdom of God, the knowledge of God.
Hello, hello. It's your boy. It's about that time. Hustle hard. Let's get it.
Nobody greater, nobody greater, nobody greater, nobody greater, nobody awesome, mighty as you, oh Lord, nobody greater, nobody awesome.
Capital 100.4 FM.
Harare's heartbeat.
Holla holla, it's your boy George Billionaire, and you're listening to Capi Talk 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat. With yours truly, Becky K.
17 minutes past 12 o'clock, and we are sharp shooting into Hustle Hard with George Billionaire, famously known as Uncle Billy. I don't know anywhere else where he is known as Uncle Billy and owning it, other than right here on Capi Talk 100.4 FM. The name is Becky K. I'm with you from 12 until 3 o'clock, Mondays through to Thursdays. But on a Monday, like now, between 12 and 1 o'clock, we talk all things that have to do with the money. Your money, your money, your money. How are you making it? How are you keeping it? How are you making it work for you? How is the hustle going? Don't give up. As long as you are into some form of a hustle, you don't stop until you get the thing that you said you are working towards. George Billionaire is in the building, and our topic today is life is a matter of choices, and every choice you make makes you. Oh, that's a loaded statement. But George is here to unpack it, so we are not worried at all. Choices, and every choice you make makes you. How you doing, George?
Holla, holla.
Holla, holla.
It's your boy.
It's your boy. I think we should change that drop and do like holla, holla. It's your boy, Uncle Billy.
Becky K.
What's up?
It's always good to be here.
Always good to have you.
I love Mondays. Because
Absolutely.
Mondays are full of something so much to look forward to.
Absolutely.
And no better place than to be here on Capi Talk.
Yeah.
And life is a matter of choices.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a sum total result of the choices that you make.
True.
There are people today who have made a choice to listen to us on this Monday. And because of that choice, their life will be different.
True.
Because the amount of time they're going to invest in listening to this program is going to change their lives. Now, people take a thing called choices for granted. So when God created all of us, He gave us this one power of choosing. So wherever you are in life today is a sum total result of the choices that you have made, that have made you become who you are today, where you are staying, the lifestyle you are living, the type of person that you are. All of it is a sum total result of the choices you chose to take or not to take.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
So
choices that you chose. Huh? to either make or not to make.
That's right. And you see, with people, we take for granted this thing called choices, and we end up living a mediocre life. We end up living a life where we want to, as always, blame everybody else except us for why we are where we are today. But then there are people many years ago who made deliberate choices and made decisions after making those choices. And this is why they are living the lives they are living today.
Wow.
So I can tell you, Becky, anybody who you see who is successful, who has made strides, who has acquired a house, built a house, bought this, have or is living a certain lifestyle, made a deliberate choice once upon a time that they're not going to be comfortable in the comfort zone, that they are not going to be okay with a mediocre life, that they are not going to be okay with one stream of income, that they are not going to be okay with just being average. And they made a choice, and that choice was probably a road less traveled.
Yeah.
It was probably a road mocked by many. It was probably a road where, you know, at that point in time, they thought themselves that, hey, is this really going to work? But because of that choice they made, trust you me, they're in a far better place. So life is about choices, ladies and gentlemen, the pulses. And today, get your pens and papers out. It's gonna be an amazing ride.
I'm always
and
ready.
I can tell you that after today, you're going to really analyze some of the choices you are making and why those choices are either going to make you or break you.
I'll break you.
You know, Becky, growing up, salute to my father and mother, Nicodemus and Teresa Monengwa. They made a choice way back when they were working in the 70s and 80s to buy a house in Glenora, which is what raised me and my 4 siblings.
Right.
And we grew up there. That was our startup place. So they made a choice to make an investment back then. But when we look at our current generation, we don't have people who are making choices to actually put a roof over their heads because they are living according to the status quo.
Yeah.
They're wanting to live a life to please the who's. But at the ages that most of us are today, they don't have a roof over their heads. And things are different. But trust you me, all of it stems down to a simple thing called choices.
Choices, yeah.
That's right. So as we go on, I came up with some amazing things. I was reading a book. Becky, I'm reading a book. I'm always telling people
Talk
that,
to us.
it's important to read books. The book I'm reading, a lot of people are always
Dare
wanting to ask.
win.
That's right. Dare to Win by Jack Canfield and
Man,
Mark Victor Hansen.
where did you get it?
This book,
Where did you get it? How long ago did you get it?
I got this in 2017.
There you go. Because
That's right.
you can't find this book like now.
Yeah, no, you can if you
Where?
look at the right places.
Where? No,
I got the hookup.
Link.
I got you.
Dude,
I
link.
got you.
Oh my gosh.
That's right. So besides, of course, when you travel, there are some guys here locally
Okay.
who have this. If you go to the flea markets, definitely if you look for
Ah,
guys
there
who
we go.
have,
There
they can.
we
I
go.
can guarantee you that these guys will be able to assist you.
Like the ringtone,
So-
by the way.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
It speaks volumes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Dare to Win is an amazing book. And this book is about choices as well. Because it's telling you that you need to dare to win. It's a choice that you make. And this is an amazing book. So a lot of people were asking me, George, what's your latest read?
Yeah.
Last week we were reading that other book. And this week I'm on to Dare to Win. And I told people, Uji, in order for you to be great, I don't care how old or how young you are, begin to read these self-help books. You know, our mantra in Hustle Hard is to provoke, inspire, and equip.
And equip, yeah.
The most important part is to equip. We've always said it, to be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yeah.
So how you update your mental software is to read how these guys, many years ago, made it.
Yeah.
And on Hustle Hard, as always, success leaves clues. We keep saying it.
True.
And there's some clues. So it doesn't matter how successful you are. One common thing about people who've made it, trust you me, they keep reading books. So it's important. Read books, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're at. Have that 20-30 minute time you
Yeah,
call
very
yourself.
important.
You're not in me time. You know, I do this religiously. And this is why my mindset cannot be okay with being average.
There we go.
You know, there's so many people who say, George, you're too positive. Yeah, there's something with you,
says
George.
that?
No, a lot of people just say,
What?
every time I come around you, you're always just, and I'm like, do you know
Major,
why?
like negative, you know.
And this is the thing. When I go to my mentors, they are always speaking what they want to see. They're always telling me, hey, go read this book. And that's what life is about.
Yeah.
It's not about focusing on what we can't change. We need to focus on what we can change.
Yeah.
And that's you. You cannot change outside until you change inside.
Until you change inside.
That's right. So, right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it together.
Let's do this.
I'm so excited. So the number one choices that you gotta make. Now, a lot of people are going to die with this very simple thing. And that thing is called regret. Right? Regret. Now, you can either make a choice to make it or not to make it. To try or not to try. But the greatest thing that is going to, when you grow old, you're going to suffer from regret.
And you don't want to do that. You don't want to be in a place where you look back and you're like, when I was 30 whatever years old, this opportunity came to me and I had to make one decision. I just had to choose and I didn't. And then this is you in your 50s and your 60s and you're like, I wish I had.
Imagine that. And regret it's the worst thing ever because remember we were talking about the greatest treasures lie behind your greatest fears.
Yeah.
So regret is not making a choice to do something. So the many people listening to me now who 20-30 years down the line, I love one of the songs by one of the artists here that and you're going to regret not having taken that leap of faith, not having started, not having taken that initial step. And regret is going to knock at your door. And now you're too old and you don't have the energy, you don't have, and it's a choice. So your lack of making a choice today is going to make you suffer from a serious thing called regret. We need to make the right choices now.
So regret comes about when you know you had an opportunity and then you chose not to because you allowed fear
That's right.
to get into the way. Then years later, another opportunity will come and it will remind you of those other opportunities that you did not seize and you passed them on, right?
Yeah.
Passing on of
opportunities regularly.
Opportunities regularly, making you poor, not just financially, but your state of mind also, the quality of your thinking, everything, you have become poor in that state of mind. Now you are in this state of regret because you didn't make a choice. When you were giving us just a breakdown of the different types of people, how they've excelled or not excelled based on their choices, you brought the aspect of comfort zone once again.
Yeah.
There are some people, we might not address them today, but just to single them out, there are some people who have said, I'm okay where I am with the bare minimum. Can someone with a mindset like that, or who has made a choice like that, be changed? Can someone be like, I don't want to say swindled, persuaded?
Yeah, okay. So you know one thing about life, Becky, and you look at the people who are living today who think they're okay. There's something called they think they're okay because they're living according to the NOW, the now. What happens with money? Money is a visitor, like Dr. Philip Chiango says. And what makes it stay permanently is when you invest in your life and you make investments that are continuously going to turn on investment. But to people who have a job, who have one stream of income, who are in the corporate ladder and are making good money right now, the moment that job goes goodbye, you're going to see how long a lifespan you have to maintain the current standard of lifestyle that you have. And that's when you then begin to say, okay, I'm not actually comfortable. Because remember, Monwesa are productive years of making money. But to those who want to live beyond, they make investments that are going to work for them when that time comes, when they're not able to run as fast and go and hustle and do all these things. Because remember, on Hustle Hard, there's a time to start a hustle. And then there's a time to create structure. And then there's a time to create a business empire that exists without you being there. That's now a formal business. Because if your business is still, you have to be there for it to operate. I set Yashrika to the actual stages. But everybody who began an enterprise, it started as a hustle and it grew up to become what it is.
Right.
So to people who are comfortable, back to your question, Becky, trust you me, those people will realize reality when it kicks in. When now they've been released from their jobs, their kids are going to university, they need certain amounts of money to maintain the standard of lifestyle.
Yeah.
They need fuel, they need to pay bills. And you don't want to wait until that time. Which is why on Hustle Hard here, our mandate on this show is to provoke people to say, don't be comfortable.
Thank you.
Because 100,000 is 100,000. But trust you me, once you have 100,000, have you ever noticed how your lifestyle increases with the value
Yes,
of money you have?
it demands something.
But if you don't increase your investment portfolio to be able to sustain, that lifestyle,
Yeah.
100,000 will diminish and go away.
Like,
And then now you're going back to look for a job at that age, and you're going to settle for a lot. So to people listening, regret is the worst thing you can ever have in your life. It's better to try. Start that side hustle. Start that little plot behind your backyard to create some form of income coming in. You know, there's nothing that hurts. Remember what we said about fail. First attempt in learning, the abbreviation. Nobody in life fails. Everybody who has failed
has learned something.
was actually a process to go to success. Let me say that slowly. In order for you to become successful, you have to go through many bridges of failure before you reach the destination called success. So the more you fail, the more you try and you fall down, guess what? You are learning something that is far different from somebody. Trust you me, I failed. I've spoken so many times
About
how I
how
wanted
you
to
failed.
open the phone shop. I wanted to do this.
How many businesses did you get into before you finally
I
said?
did quite a lot, Becky.
Before
I
you
did
finally
a lot.
said, no, I think this is my channel. I know I'm good at
But
sales.
the thing I did out of all these businesses, I learned. Shamwara ipiwe chikwereti Becky. Anditi pandaitengesa mafreezed. Munaizonetsa kubhadhara mari back.
Freezed.
I learned at 50 cents. It was a great lesson, right? I learned, okay, next time you want to build a phone shop, you have to ask the authorities. Aungovake phone shop pakona peraende nyuglenora isiri land yako.
Yeah.
Because everybody else was doing it. So there are always important lessons
Right.
that people should learn from their failures that make your life become better later on. So let's not be people who are going to live a life of regret.
Right.
Let's rather try. And you know, with trying, you lose nothing by asking others who've done it how they did it.
Absolutely.
And this is the purpose of, you know, going on and asking those who have been successful, what they did. True that. Okay, so the number two. The second thing, whose life are you living? Right? Whose life are you living? Now, majority of people today, varikurarama upenyu kufadza vamwe vanhu. Right? The choices that you are making are actually not your sole choices. You are living a life because you want to please your father. You want to please your mother. You want to please somebody else. And guess what? This choice is going to cost you in the long term because you're not living your own life. Becky, I'll tell you one thing about me. I was told, no, you need to go to university if ever you're going to be successful. No, you know what? Stay in employment is the best thing for you. Don't try this journey of entrepreneurship. So let me tell everybody who's listening, your parents have lived their life. Take ownership of your life. It's a choice. You have to make the right choices that benefit you. Do not go and study a degree to please your parents if it's not going to be satisfactory to you. Do not live a lifestyle to please others if it's going to cause you disaster in the future.
Come on.
You know, there are so many people right now, I cannot believe it, how I began telling you that our parents made a conscious decision. All of us listening, our parents, all of us had a house. All of us who are listening, we all grew up somewhere, whether Kumusha or in Harare, our parents owned a house. The worst thing that you can do as mwana wa baba na mae wako is not to be able to at least surpass what your parents did.
Come on. Yeah.
But because of the social pressures currently now, muna akangobata mari, immediately you want to be seen. Uda unotenga chibhora, uda unotenga mota, you want to bling. Whose life are you living? Who is determining the choices that you are making? Some of us are taking kids at schools that we are not okay with because we want to look cool and as though we are there. but you don't know what you are doing that's going to, damage your future life. I remember, Becky, when I started my journey on entrepreneurship, and I made a choice to have my office at my house, right? It was a choice. I was mocked left, right, and center. Georgiano Garapa office. A lot of people said a lot of things, but you know what choice I was making? At that time, I was making a calculative decision to say, whilst I am saving on rentals here, I could use that additional income to invest in something that will live beyond me.
Yeah.
So my question to people is, whose life are you living and to please who? You need to make a conscious, deliberate effort. I need to make sure that I am okay. I'm living a life that pleases me. I need to live a lifestyle that is okay with me, with where I am at currently. But Nevano Vazhinji right now, Becky, it's going to hinder many people. I see many people driving very nice cars. But if you ask these people, have they invested in a house over their head? It doesn't matter if it's 200 square meters, but the value
yours.
of the car they are driving, it's a choice. You look good in the immediate, but you're sacrificing your future by immediate benefit now, by looking good. But your kids are soon then to suffer when that money dwindles away and you don't have other streams of income to maintain that lifestyle. Also, tengesa those things and you're moving all around, renting here, renting there, all of these are choices. So my question is, whose life are you living? Let's live within our means. Let's be people who make choices which are deliberate, which are building, which are going to benefit us and the generations to come. So let's not be swayed left or right by wanting to please people, by living an expensive life right now. And this is what's affecting majority of people.
Plenty much.
So many people, you see people traveling, and now people want to do the same thing. Somebody buys another car. We want to compare our lives
With those of others that
you don't
we
know
have
kuti
no
munhu
idea
uyu
how.
George akatanga business in 2012. You want to compare yourself with him. He's been in business for 14 years. It's okay for him to do what he's doing.
Right.
But iwo wakatanga nezero, you want to compare yourself.
Ashbudi.
And the moment you begin to live a competitive life, trust
that's
me,
the word.
your family, your wife, your children will suffer by you wanting to keep up with the who's who.
George Billionaire in the building for Hustle Hard right here on Capitalk 100.4 FM. It's good when we discuss these things. With the second point that he brought up, we are talking about why it is important for you to make choices. And he spoke about the issue of regret, that if you do not make a choice, you are going to regret the fact that you did not make a choice. The second point he brought up was, whose life are you living? Are you living it for yourself? Are you living it for people? Are you people pleasing? Is that what you're aiming for? If you're doing people pleasing, that is only going to lead to pain. Live within your means. So back to the first question I asked George about, I'm comfortable where I am. Are they not just living for themselves, or should they live for themselves knowing that there's bigger things ahead?
This goes on to our point number 3, was to explain.
Right.
So people who are comfortable, Becky, are only comfortable because of the surroundings that they are in.
Okay.
Remember, on Hustle Hard, we've come up with this amazing quote that you don't know how poor you are until you go to a rich man's house.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know at all because you haven't been exposed. Now, the choice that makes people go and remain in their comfort zone is what we call their inner circle, their association. Who are they hanging around? Becky, I can guarantee you, we had a great talk last week, how you said you met this amazing woman,
Yeah.
you bought a book,
Yeah.
and just because of your association, affiliation with such a person, when they invite you to their house, outside your usual friends, which we call the chicken friends, the ones we grew up with, the same age boys, wanatakura very comfortable,
Yeah.
the comfortable crew, the conversations are the same, right? It's the same old stories.
Nothing different.
Nothing different.
Always going back. Remember that day.
Hakuna shamwari yako iri kuita zvinhu zviri inspiring, iri kuratidza progress. They were once here and now they've moved the location. They are now doing, you're all comfortable. your conversations are the same.
Yeah.
But when you deliberately change your affiliation, your inner circle, there are certain things about you that will change.
Right.
There's no way, Becky, I can guarantee you, if you hang around success, that you will remain poor. Azvite, when you hang around people vari kugadzira mari, trust you me, kune vese vakagraduata paUniversity of Zimex Mall, paunotanga ka unosvika usiri kuziva zvauri kuita uchingombeya. But after a week unopedzera kuzoona kuti no wakaramba wakamira ka wane mari, unofanira kutoenda pane munhu wotaura woedza kucreate something. You understand? And it's the same with business, and it's the same with success. When you hang around with people who are farming, who are increasing their streams of income, who are trying a side hustle, uchatanga kuti, but wait a minute, kana ava vari kuzviita ka, why am I not doing the same things? And you know, the conversation always differs when you are at a table where there is success around. The conversations are different. Hapana makuwa ari kutaurwa, hapana pull him down, pull her down. They are all trying to gather their mental resources to see how best can we take each other to the next place. So when you see yourself comfortable, I want to ask you this. Look at your immediate circle of friends, right? Kana uriwo utori ndinga mu group reshamwari dzako, you have the wrong circle. You are actually in a cage because you think you are okay where you are. But when you go to other people who provoke you and you say, wow, these are successful business people, but vane mombe 500, vari kurima chibage, vari kuita izvakadai, you begin to ask yourself, wait a minute, I just wasn't made for one thing. I can actually try and diversify and try other things.
Yeah.
But people who are comfortable, kwandiri, zvinondiratidza shamwari dzaunotamba nadzo. Inini, the people that I can tell you, I'll never forget the times I met Tinashe Mtarisi, Clive Chisenye, Lloyd Ngwenya. These are seasoned entrepreneurs. And just a conversation with them, they taught me about stock levels. You are only as rich as amount of stock you have. You are only, there's a lot of things I learned from changing association. It made me think bigger than what I was. So kunevano vanoti, I'm okay, I'm comfortable. I promise you, it's just because urukutamba nevano
There's no exposure.
Hauna exposure. Saka you're comfortable.
With what you're seeing, with your surroundings.
And trust you me, that's the greatest trap in life. You know, I love our president was recently in Russia. Trust you me, there's something you benefit by going somewhere than just staying in one place. Unonosangana nevanu, unosangana mamwe madiri. You hear other conversations.
Tell them.
But guess what happens? Majority of people varungoramba vachita same thing every single day, and they expect different results. That's the definition of insanity.
Madness.
But wakasangana nevamwe, when you change your association, and I keep saying this, I am a testament to that.
Yeah.
I changed my friends
Deliberately
because I know where I want to go. Ndokuziva kwandoda kuenda kune mazera akati kuti. Saka ndirambe ndichitamba nevanhu vasina zvandiri kuda. Saka ndakatamba nevanhu vanazvo vanogona kundibatsira kundivhurirawo madoors kwandoda kuenda. But you are only where you are today because you keep hanging around the same people.
And those people then influence how you make the choices, how quick or how slow you respond to things, because that's who they are. That's the surrounding that you are in. So if the people that you hang around with take 5 days to decide on a business deal or not, you are also going to, fall into that thing where you take 5 days to decide whether you want to get into this business or not. But if you're around people who think quick and all, you too will fall into that category where you.
You know, Becky, one thing I've seen about my changing of association, there's no business idea which has ever been shot down when I've presented it to people who I look up to and who are far greater than me.
Yeah.
They tell you, hey, this is a great idea. If you really research, work hard on this, this can actually work out. But iwe shamwari dzako chingodziudza nhasi kuti uda kutanga business. Unotongonza Becky kupiko. Ndiani rokumba kunyaka mboita zvakadaro. Siyana nazvo, chingoita zvauri kuita paredhiyo izvozvo, chatokuchengeta. Siyana nezvauda kuita zvimwe zvinhu zvakasiyana izvo. And guess what? They blow out that candle. So your association either makes you or breaks you. Trust you me, if your friends are not ones that cheer you on or push you forward or inspire, provoke you, then you need to really
need to
look
change.
at your association.
You do.
Because your association determines your destination.
There we go. It's
Sako
a quarter
kona.
to 1. We want to get into questions because messages are coming through, and it's looking good. Well, there's one who took us back to last week's topic. I don't know if we will touch on that, but we are going to try our level best to make sure that today's questions are answered. We are talking about life choices, and why it is important for you to make choices, and the right ones at that. Life is a matter of choices, and every choice you make makes you. So whether you've made a good choice or a bad choice, it's still creating you. You're still learning from it. So what happens when I make a bad choice?
There's nothing called a bad choice,
Really?
because you're always learning from something. You know, I've always said to people, when I made a bad choice by building a phone shop in an undesignated, unauthorized place by city of Harare, back then, yakazodemolishwa neMuramba Trina, I learned something. There's nothing called a bad choice. You learn by experience. You
Okay.
understand? People who are trying something are far better than people who are not doing anything. In life, I love this saying, Anzi, we live and we learn, right? You're always going to make choices. When you woke up today, Becky, you chose what you're wearing, you
Yeah.
chose the route you used, you chose, and
Absolutely.
sometimes one of the road understands three mangwana works out no irugazero. I need to
Hey,
use
I need
this.
to. Oh wow.
So we live and we learn. So if you're always going to be too calculative and you're not going to make certain decisions, guess what? Your life is going to be boring. Your life is we're going to need a tombstone for us to remember that wakamborara mapasipana. But to others who have made those daring choices, the Steve Jobs, the Bob Marleys, the Michael Jackson, these are people who chose a different path.
Yeah.
And guess what? Their decisions made them ultimately who they are. That's why we still talk about them today.
Right.
So in life, you have to be always trying something and making choices that benefit you. But living in the comfort zone and not trying anything is going to leave you in the same place. And remember this, and I've said this, I was watching an interview I did 5 years back, and this was before COVID. And I was telling people the robots are coming. Be careful of relying on one stream of income. Automation is coming, and Becky, it's coming faster than ever.
Fast.
Pane vanhu vakatemba mabasa avo vakamabatira vachiti no, I'm covered, ndikupiwa fuel, I'm on medical aid, I'm covered. But remember my words, there's going to come a time when you had the choice uineka disposable income kauinako now, where you could actually try something and actually complement the additional income yauinayo.
Yeah.
And guess what? It makes you go and cross the bridge. Their parents vakakurira ku high density suburb vaitengesa muriwo ana mama akatoendesa vana kuuniversity kutograduata. But that mother or father could have chose to blame everybody else and not done something. But guess what? Their choices made them be able to take their kids across. So it's a choice. But we don't see that some of the things we are doing today are going to cost us 5-10 years down the
Hectic.
line.
Hectic.
Yeah.
Hectic.
Zvaitaurwa zviya.
When you mention children, like my mind just ding, that whole light bulb thing just came on now. You don't realize what a detriment you are doing to your children when you do not make choices for their benefit. And that is with education, with spirituality, like what are you teaching them, values. And also as a parent, if you are not showing your kids how to make certain choices, they're also just going to be, misled, misguided by their surroundings, because they're going to leave your house. They're leaving that nest and they're going to spend time with other people, and you haven't instilled anything of value for them to hold on to. There's someone who wrote in and said, kumaraini kwedu kune competition yekutumira vana overseas. Vamwe vari kutosiririsa. They look sad because of these choices, because they were not made with the right intentions.
Becky, I don't know how I can emphasize, of late there's this whole new craze about you know, the life is better on the other side of the world. And these decisions, some parents are pushing their kids. I know of some. I've got a mentorship program. There's some guy who, and I told him, don't do it, because he's wanting to live a life to please his mother and father. They are telling him that no, it's better you're doing this. But what the parents don't understand is the lifestyle that's there in the foreign land. They don't understand what that child is going to face.
Yeah.
All they want is to be able to be sent money back home.
And to say, I go UK.
But they don't know what's happening in the UK. They do not know.
Yeah.
So it's important that people get to realize, let's stop this wanting to live our lives through our children. Trust you me, I appreciate and I love my father. I always joke about it and how my father wanted me kuti ndirambe ndiri kubasa kwandaishanda ndichitambira 300. But I deliberately put my foot down ndakati, no dad, if you have a dream about me, please keep it to yourself. I want to do what I want to do. And thank God my father was not the autocratic military type of parent, but this, that and the other. And there are many children facing that. Let's let our kids live their lives. And now every time I go for award ceremonies with my dad, George,
Yeah.
so you know what, you don't want to regret not having done what your gut told you.
Yeah.
Don't be swayed left or right. Your gut tells you. Usayende.
Yeah.
You know what you want. Don't do it because your parents have paid your fees, your universities. No. Trust your gut. Do and live a life that pleases you.
And like you said, if it doesn't work out, you just try another route.
You learn something. And in everything, we all learn. Pane vangu vakadzoka kubva ku UK, trust you me, they will tell you in Zimbabwe, we have freedom. We have you're working 14, 16 hours a day. It's not life. Awuna social life. Urungotambira 10, 12 pounds an hour. The rentals are high. There's so much. But that's not the choice that they made. So to parents out there, to people out there, to spouses out there, don't push people just because of. Let's choose, the right things that will benefit us in the long term.
I love this guy. Books have changed my life. I used to read 2 books every month, but now I'm studying like textbooks and articles is what I read now. Books are everything. And yes, that talk on surroundings, very inspiring talk. You are the average of your 5 friends. I think they just singled it out or brought it down to 5 friends, but you're an average of the people that are in and out of your life. I learned the hard way and I'm still trying to pull away from certain people. God help me.
Help yourself. God is not going to help you.
I'm running.
That choice is ultimately, don't bring God in this.
I mustn't bring God.
God is not responsible for where you end up in life. The Bible says the poor muchange mina wakaiwa kada kuaffiliate nekuassociate neiva vava ana passing of opportunities regularly. Newewo uchapasa more opportunities and you are opportunities.
Right.
But I love the types of people, Becky, where they tell you, wow, I saw this opportunity. In Zimbabwe, there are so many problems. Aside from this air conditioning you're doing, George, why don't you try this other stream? Because and imagine, just because of that idea, I started that. And wabam.
I just think, adult relationships or adult friendships with the guys are so much better than the women's side. There's still a lot of emotions,
Becky, trust you me,
and bickering.
They are. It depends with where your friends are.
In their life, where they are.
You don't ever try and persuade a chicken that is an ego, because inotanga kudza physics. Kuti no azviite, because mindset yake is not there. So there are certain people you shouldn't even argue with, because you will look like a fool yourself, because you're trying to tell somebody something that they can't comprehend. But like I said earlier, the conversation differs. Kunis very successful, amazing female entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe. You know them, Becky.
Yes, I do.
But if you choose deliberately to take them for lunch, whenever they're going to speak, and any
day, I won't be stressed about
your mind.
Time. You see why I like Mondays? Did you see why I like Mondays? We got 5 minutes left, and this man is helping me. Sha, you and me both, Timo. This man, he is helping us. And in Dr. Change, a circle of friends. George, to be honest with you, people want to make good choices. They want to make choices that will elevate them and propel them to better and better things, better businesses, better relationships. But this aspect, the third point that you gave us, the surrounding, the association, the friends, that thing, we might have everything else here. I don't want to live in regret. I'm living my life for me. I know where I'm going. Then you just have that thing that's holding at your ankle. You feel like you're moving, but something is just like dragging. But this point that you just gave us, that you don't bring God into it. If you are not happy with the place where you move, find that proper association so you're not focused on the noise.
Becky, you are not
happening.
You are not a tree.
You're not a tree.
You are not a tree.
Or a building.
That's you can move. You can move. So choose wisely.
Yeah.
This of ka comfort zone I grew up, we went to school together.
Okay, please stop. Like, who
Don't
told you my
understand.
business? Who told George my business? Who's out here
But those
telling
people,
George my
trust you
business?
me, they're only good for a certain season in your life.
Yeah.
Trust you me, the friends I grew up with are not the friends I have today. Becky, there are some friends who the phone one, and you say, hi, I need X amount. Can you assist? They are not going to question you 30 questions. Why was it? Why did you travel? Why did you? But then there are others who will, no question asked, assist.
And just sort you out.
So you need to hang around with people who reciprocate your energy and your vibe. Wakangona ndiwego uramba uchingotenga ma-birthday present, birthday yawe rusvika hapana chiri kuuya. You've got the wrong friends. You cannot be associating with people who don't reciprocate the energy. Every time there's something happening, you're always the one who shows up. When you're having something, so you have to make a deliberate decision. But no. With where I want to go, I want to hang around with people who have the same vibe, mentality, positive thinking, lifestyle that I want. When you do that, I can guarantee you your decision making is going to be a lot easier because it's around the right people. But lack of that is going to, destroy a lot. And similar to that, Becky, there's another point about choices.
Right.
The partner you choose is also key to ultimately what you become. That's right. I know there are a lot of smiles all over where people are watching from. The partner, Wauno Saruza, will either determine where you end up in life. That person will either be a knife in your back or be somebody who's going to uplift you to become great. I was reading Michelle Obama's book, and she said it doesn't matter what type of man I was going to marry. I was going to make a president out of anybody.
Either way.
So if you look at all the successful entrepreneurs, trust you me, your partner plays a pivotal role. And that's a choice you decide to make, Wega. When I look at my mom, my dad made the best decision marrying a woman like my mom because she was motherly, she was a support pillar, she was somebody who always, and my dad always says it, your mom was that word that I needed when days were down.
Man.
Your mom made us build and purchase that house.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. So it's important to also have a wife who is not materialistic, somebody who wants to help the business grow. There are some partners right now where we were talking about it earlier on.
Yeah.
Why don't we drive a good? They want to look good, but they don't have a shelter over their head.
And it's pointless.
And there are people like that. So let's not put pressure on our men or women to look good, but let's be partners who are long-term visioned. Who are, I don't think we can afford this school. I don't think we need to buy a new car. Why don't we invest the money in the business? After a certain period, let's not compete with the who's who. So a partner in your life also plays a pivotal role. And you choosing the right or wrong partner is either going to create heaven on earth or it's going to cause the opposite of heaven. Yeah.
George Billionaire, Uncle Billy, about to exit, and he left the building with amazing words. I captured this $1 million conversation, and I'm going to put everything one by one in action. Watch this space. Anzi, thank you. I'm Matipa. Ladies and gentlemen, pulses all over. It is 1 o'clock, and it's time for the news.
Christmas, ndichingowana tuma-rentals, then I decided to do Airbnb. I sold my car and bought furniture for this. I don't want to lie, I don't regret. I'm making money.
Come on!
That's
all I want to hear.
On the duty of the commission to make sure that
Chin one, head on the day,
Pro Air is a company that believes in the wisdom of God and in the knowledge of God. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 to 10 is the heart and core of Pro Air. Because without wisdom, you cannot have the knowledge of God. And without the knowledge of God, you cannot have blessing and prosperity. Let's read. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. There is a command, then there is a promise. The command is to trust. The promise is that He will make your path straight. Then there's another command. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. Then there's a promise that comes. It will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones. There's another promise that comes again in verse 10. So your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will overflow with new wine. God has commanded blessing towards you, but that blessing takes the wisdom of God, the knowledge of God.